Jel. Well, I will let you take it away.
Hey guys, whoa, we're 35 in the room. Okay, that's quite impressive. Thank you so much for your time. So again, I'm Jel. Güney will be joining me in this session, and this is the very first unicorn-led webinar of Assistantly, which tackles being an AI native unicorn. So, we're going to discuss a couple of things about prompting where you are in your AI journey and pushing you further to the next level, hopefully. Okay, so right now, I think we're good to start. All good? Gunay? Yes? Yes? Okay.
Yep,
Cool. So,
let's go.
right, yeah, great. So, right now we have to really shift the mindset with AI because it's not just a tool in your arsenal. Okay. So, from I use AI sometimes to AI is layered to how I already work. That's the shift that we're looking for in this session. Everything after this point, the levels, the prompt formula, the use cases, the live builds, and any other things related to AI is just the mechanics of making that shift real. So it's now seen as a parallel intelligence. And for us unicorns, this means that the remote workers, like all of us here who come out ahead of this shift, are the ones who will eventually orchestrate AI. So the ones who fall behind are the ones still competing with it, resisting it, hesitating, and doing manually what it now does for free, mostly. Okay. So the biggest opportunity in this room today isn't learning, 10 tools, but, we'll still give tips on about like 10 to 12 tools later on. But it's building a system, one real assistant for you that makes your output good enough that replacing you stops, making sense. So our goal today really is for all of us to be AI native unicorns instead of AI assisted. Again, take note, AI native unicorns. So this session is one of, the hopefully many sessions we're gonna have about AI. Thank you. Gunay?
Yes. All right. Yeah, like Jel said, most AI sessions start with this shiny stuff, apps, agents, automations, and all of that. We're gonna get there, but I feel like starting there would be like asking someone to build a kitchen before they actually know what they're going to cook, right? Think of it like this: a restaurant that doesn't serve pizzas should not be building a pizza oven. So we are going to build stuff that is related to what we are doing. And the foundation of that is creating your reusable assistant. Okay. Before I explain anything else, I want you to pick one thing that is raw material that you can that you can basically give to your assistant. Okay. Um, one thing that you have to, two things that you have to do. One, drop in in the chat, please, a repeated task that you keep doing, and keep it as simple as possible, like 2 to 3 words stops. That's all you need to do for now. And once I see that, we're going to move on to something else. Come on, chat, show us you're alive.
Guys, promise chat on because Gunay will do his magic literally today. So
Okay, creating HubSpot notes. All right. Anything else? Anyone else?
I have something, but it might be hard to explain.
go ahead.
All
Let's
right.
My
try it.
Go ahead.
chat anyway. My clients want me to create social media posts, but not change anything they write. So they send newsletters every week, and they want me to create 3 posts per newsletter. Use the newsletter content as the caption and or the graphic line for the post.
Mm-hmm. You went big, Colleen. We are
Mhm.
going to work on an assistant layer first, but I understand that that is an entire workflow already. You know, you have like multiple sections into that one, and it's a good one. It's a great one because a workflow can cut down significant work time, and you can be using that time for something else, right? So AI can definitely help you with that. But for now, I would like everybody to take a note of some of the repeated tasks that they are doing. Pick one, and then what do you give the AI? What do you usually paste in? Um, how you would like to have it back, and what the AI must not do. So this is something like called a rule for it, and then something that you would be um, reviewing. If I'm going to give an example of that is I create reports on Monday. What I usually paste in is raw data from social media. What I want back is that a report for executives with some graphs, right? The AI must not invent numbers that are not there. What I need to review is make sure that the numbers I provided are in the report. Okay, keep it something simple. Um, Again, this is the first step that we are going to be using um, later on when we are going to create a repeatable assistant, a reusable prompt. Okay. Does everybody have something written down? I hope so, because I'm gonna move on to the next slide. Okay. Sebastian said, update data on sheet from cross-channel campaigns daily, result metrics and ad spend, hallucinate, and if it's the real campaign. Great, yes, that's very good. Okay. Again, like I said, we're not starting with a full app. A full app is not the first step. A full app is what you build after you understand actually the work that goes behind it and you know the foundation of it. Okay. If you're onboarding a new VA, you would not say, hey, here is ClickUp, here's the client, good luck. You would explain the task, you would show examples, um, you would explain what good looks like and explain what they should not be doing. Okay. So there are boundaries and there are rules, there are SOPs to be followed. And AI basically needs the same thing. Okay, you pick one repeated task, you turn that into clear instructions, you test it once, you tighten it, you might test it again and then tighten it more if the output is not what you want it to be, and then you save it for real work and for for the future steps. Okay, um, if the prompt assistant is bad, the app will also just um, produce bad work. Okay, so that's the reason what we are going to go with um, the prompt side first. And this first session might become a bit boring for some people that already have experience with these things, but we need to build a foundation for everyone first. Okay. All right. So what work do you repeat every week? Okay. And it's important that you understand that to start with something, boring is good. Boring usually means that a task has a pattern, and AI is good at pattern work. AI is good at repeating things that you have given it and how it should produce it as long as the context is there. So don't pick the hardest thing in your role. Do not pick the one where the client would be upset if it's wrong, or somebody would get a much higher invoice if it's sent out. Pick something that's useful and easy to review. Good first assistant tasks have 3 signs, actually. You do them often. Um, what else? You already know what good output looks like, and you can check the answer. You can actually verify it. So look at your task. Does it happen weekly or does it happen daily? Can you review the output in less than a few minutes? If yes, keep it. If no, simplify it. Okay. So instead of saying manage the inbox, you could say pick draft. You could actually pick like draft replies to scheduling questions. Instead of saying do social media, You can say turn content notes into captions, like what Colleen earlier said, right? And then instead of saying manage the CRM, you can say clean the call notes into CRM notes. So now that we have basically the task, we need to talk about what AI is good at, okay, and how AI basically works. Most people think that AI is actually thinking, which is completely wrong. When you're typing in ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini, you will see that it is reasoning or thinking, but it basically, what it's doing is it's basically predicting likely responses. Um, it does not know your intent unless you give it context, examples, and rules. AI is like a very fast assistant who hates awkward silences. And if you leave blanks, it will try to fill that in. And that is the part where we say it predicts likely responses. Now, this is useful when you're brainstorming, but it's a dangerous thing when you're actually reporting some outputs to a client or to a customer. If your note says followed up with leads, but it does not say how many, AI might write followed up with several leads. It sounds harmless, but it is still inaccurate and it is a predicted response. Okay. So, second one is AI only knows what it can access. If you don't give it context and if you don't give it access to other tools, it will only know things up until its cutoff date. And it will again hallucinate when it doesn't know, because AI is built to satisfy your question. And that is where the hallucinations come from, as long as it produces an answer. Okay. And that is also why it can sound confident when it's wrong. And that is the review part. We have to make a safety check before anything goes public to a client or to a system or to a customer. Okay. Um, so we are going to, I'm going to hand it over to Jel for the next slide.
Yep. Hi. So I'll just share screen for I think the next. No, okay. That's
Okay.
fine. Later on, I'll just share my screen for a use case.
Okay.
So, there's like a training that I've attended to, and it says that there are actually 4 levels of how we use AI in our lives. It could be our work lives, our daily lives, and all that. So, Gunay will be explaining. Oh no, sorry. Gunay will be pressing the stuff here because it's a little interactive. So you guys will have an idea on how this looks like. So level one is chat. You type in, it responds. It's like a search engine. You can ask it about like what's the weather today, what's the latest trends in AI. Tell me more about the real estate landscape for this particular area. So it's more of using conversations or interactions to draft something, brainstorm something, explain, improve writing, and also sometimes translating. Um, to be honest with you, if ever that I have difficulties translating from my native language, which is Filipino, to English, I actually use AI for that. Next is prompting or prompt assistant. So it's a saved instruction set for one repeated task. Okay, so it's like giving the AI the same role, context, output, and then you're gonna be just adding some input depending on like the situation or the brief that it has to do. And then there's always guardrails or rules. Guardrails are or the term guardrail is something that Gunay and I will be mentioning several times in this session, because in terms of prompting, there's a stringent way to do it for us to be able to provide an output that is repeatable, because sometimes AI, like what Gunay said, AI sometimes decides on its own. Like you can put one form, one particular output, and then you repeat it again. It spits out a different output. So later on, we'll learn more about that. So prompt assistant is also called skills in like the likes of ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity. So just so it's not confusing. Next is agent. Some people call it agentic. So this is AI literally connected already to tools, so it can read, write, and update or create things, and then so the rules could be stronger for this one. It's really more stringent and rigid, so that it follows a certain set of instructions. You can still provide flexibility on some of it, but uh, again, Gune also mentioned you already have an idea on the parameters of what a good output looks like. So that applies to this as well. So agent or agentic is sometimes prompted, is also sometimes running on a schedule or a certain trigger. So last, level 4 is a workflow. Workflow is actually what literally Colleen described earlier. So it runs on a trigger or a schedule as well. Um, it's best to be created after the process is stable and you know how to, review the output already. So there's gonna be jargon such as cron jobs and all that. You will encounter that on the next few sessions that we're gonna have, but mostly it's gonna be you know uh throughout these sessions we're gonna identify, Gune and I will also identify if it's chat at a level 1, 2, 3, or 4 kind of um AI usage, right? So yeah. Okay, can you go to the next slide? Thank you. So we have to be, well, this is more like what we are telling you, the last few slides. So there's a lot of the work that we do as unicorns that can become reusable or repeatable assistants. Okay, as long as there's a very very clear task, input, output, and rules. Okay, so repeated task, identify that. You have to provide a clear input of information, and then it will give a useful output, and you have to review the rules for you to be stable, to stabilize rather the process. So it's pretty much like project implementation or tool implementation, but just on a smaller scale, because eventually you have to do it, you have to have iterations for it to be stable. So that's how it looks like. Okay, and then next slide please. Okay, so use cases. Um, so uh, there are a couple of use cases that we're gonna share throughout, and this is like I think we're gonna share this eventually. This particular link, right? Uh,
Yes.
and then you can click use cases here, such as daily client update, transcript processor, inbox reply assistant, voice prompting. There's a lot here, but there's one thing that, one sec. Yeah, there's one thing that I wanted to share with you here, which is the um, transcript. Sorry, is it transcript processor? Okay. Yes. Okay. I think uh one sec, sorry. Just got lost there a little bit. Um yeah, okay. Sorry, next slide, Gunay. Sorry about that. So um no matter which industry we support right now in Assistantly, it's still the same method. So we can use the same method across different industries. Okay. So one of which is actually the let me share my screen. I think this is the okay. All right. Hi guys, sorry, my screen share is disabled. Can you please double check? So while they are working on that, there are three particular. Oh, there you go. Thank you, whoever worked on that. Thank you so much. So one particular use case that I have here is called the MSA Builder. So I built this particular. Um, Sorry, is my screen sharing now? All good?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, just checking. Um, so right now, due to confidentiality reasons, I had to deviate from like a real demo, because you're gonna be seeing a lot of things that you're not supposed to see. So just to be safe, I built a dummy use case. I think Gunay did the same as well, for me to be able to explain this. So the first one is the MSA Builder. So MSA stands for Master Service Agreement. This is actually from my brother's small law firm. He's actually keen in AI, and he asked me to create um, a skill that drafts a master service agreement for his new clients who's about to onboard. So there's already a template. They have to put in information, and then there's like a handful of details that the AI will ask from the one who is managing that. So the output is a formatted agreement based on like certain conditions for that particular client. Because in law firms, there's certain services that they provide, but it's also very unique sometimes to certain clients that they cater. So it's built around, the formatted usual template agreement. It's also built around the firm's brand. So every agreement it produces, it stays in the same format and nothing gets missed. Okay. So we can prompt AI to like create uh five at once, I suppose, depending on like the need. I'm overreacting, but you can do it one by one, of course. So it's very important that you have to be strict with the layout. Guys, by the way, we're going to be sharing this use case as well, because there is a downloadable master agreement or master service agreement marked down here that you could read and use and customize depending on how you need it. And then, say, for example, AI can also decide things that isn't supposed to decide, of course. So you have to be really strict with the layout, with the guardrails, I suppose, and rules in this one. And then, say, for example, this is a sample prompt, but there's a more extensive prompt here. So the workflow would be, you have to give the deal details and activate that skill. So you have to save the skill first in the AI tool that you're using. So when that activates, it puts the firm's template. You have to fill certain information for it to generate the formatted document, and it's ready for your review before it gets sent. So again, there's still a human intervention here in a way that it has to be reviewed before it's sent, because contract is a legally binding document that, aside from AI, people also review them. So again, you will know what a good output would look like based on the fundamental skill that you have, especially if you're a solicitor or a lawyer. So this is a sample output. There's actually a dummy output here that I placed. Okay, so going back to the presentation, going back here. Okay, am I back to the presentation? Can you guys confirm?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. Perfect. All right. So again, that kind of agreement can be used by a real estate VA in onboarding a new acquisition or a new lease. I don't know, but it can be used. Executive assistants on service-based industries can also use it. There's a lot of applications. You just have to know um, actually you already know uh, the ins and outs of the industry. You just have to bank on that for you to be able to create those skills. Okay. So there's a lot more operations, VA, SOP assistant. Later on, I'm going to be sharing something about um, a transcript processor that writes tasks for me in ClickUp. So later on. Okay. So this is, we call this Gel and Gunay's tool picks before, because when we had a discovery call, these are the tools that um, we use day to day. So number one for me is Crisp AI. So Crisp AI is famous in Discord as a noise canceling tool for both sides. So both the recipient and the one who is talking. Uh, it cancels out any background noise. But right now, it already improved to an AI, also an AI native uh, tool wherein it transcribes, it records audio, it identifies who the speaker is and um, how much airtime you have. I suppose in these kinds of like conversations. Okay. Also, right now we use in the team that I have now in Assistantly, or I support in Assistantly, we are using Claude and ClickUp Brain. ClickUp Brain is ClickUp's AI. So we have set up some agentic tools as well there. And of course, Claude, we use it in our day-to-day work as well for um, the commercial real estate industry. How about you, Gune? You're using tools here too?
Yes, actually. So me, I'm using ChatGPT to brainstorm with myself. I'm actually using it as well as to contest my ideas, pressure testing my ideas. So whatever I say to it, I want it to disagree with me so I can become stronger in why I want my idea to be, why I should be building it or why I should not be building it. And I'm using Codex. Then later on, whatever I have planned with ChatGPT to actually use Codex to build and script for myself. Um, I'm using Hermes. Hermes is the agent style of work. So Hermes is actually an agent that goes out there and performs work for me. So I have given it context about myself, what I do, what I like, my family, what my day to day looks like in and out of sight, outside of work, and it helps me organize. It helps me focus. It helps me keep track of things. I have an entire dashboard that I made for Hermes, and it one day I woke up and it said, "Hey, today is a good day for investment in a specific crypto." I didn't think of that, and when I looked at the crypto market, it actually was a good day to start investing in crypto. Said it's low, but some things are happening in the politics. So if you do something today, you might have some increase in a few years' time and buy that motorcycle that you wanted. So that was a surprise that I woke up to, right? Then app script. So before, I don't know if you guys remember, but like a few months ago, I asked if people could help me in Google Looker Studio to build me a dashboard. And then I discovered AppScript. AppScript connects directly to everything Google, and it creates automations and dashboards, and it hosts them, looks up everything that is in a Google Sheet file or a Google Slides, and it's an all-in-one tool basically. And I also use Crisp because it is super helpful. I use it a little bit differently though, because I get the transcript and I copy it into either ChatGPT or Hermes. And the reason why I do that is because Crisp does not have context about the business and the work that I do, right? And ChatGPT and Hermes do have that. So I copy the transcript to ChatGPT or Hermes, who know me, who know the things that I do, my work style, my tone, how good looks like for me, and it creates whatever is described in that meeting. And that's it for me. Those are the reasons. No, those are the ways I utilize the tools.
There's a lot more here. Perplexity, we use it for research. Manus AI has been trending right now since it's recently acquired by Meta. Maybe there's another session for this, Gune. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're good. We're good. Okay, thank you for that. Now, the next one is these are the steps for you to build your very first assistant. Um, okay. First one is step zero. So later on, I'll be providing like a very quick run through of what step zero is as a prompt. So before the task, you have to restate the assistant's purpose and the rules or guardrails it must follow, provide the context, name the task, what can you input for it to give an output, and also if ever that you have additional rules for it, those are the steps that we need to do. So quickly, step zero. Okay, all right. So step zero is a prompt that makes Claude check past conversations for context before starting. Okay, so it actually stemmed from my client because we had the same struggle of always reminding AI. We've talked about this. You have to go back to our previous conversations. So instead of us um, repeating that kind of sentence as we go through the work that we're doing, he actually suggested this to me. Jel, you have to create step zero because I have it. It's very helpful. So the work that you did before or the day before or whatever whatever information that you had before, that is being picked up um for you to be able to proceed with the other tasks that you need to do. Okay, so um again, same idea, save this prompt as a skill, and then instead of pasting like a very big txt prompt there, skill is actually very better. So it actually fixes one of the core AI truths, that AI only knows what it can access. So you don't need to re-explain the background, any other further context from before every single session. So you have to keep this one stringent too, okay? So never let it invent past decisions or context that wasn't actually there. So yeah, so if nothing relevant is found, it should say so plainly. It's gonna flag you. So again, this is the prompt, and what to expect is it's gonna um, search past conversations. I'm already here, sorry. It summarizes what's already covered and confirms what it carries forward. Then you proceed with the topic at hand. Okay. So sometimes this is just like what it shows. Like Jel, yesterday, you worked full time on your CRE client account. You met with Gune. You ran the meeting transcript with Gune through AI. And then
Jel,
when you received, sorry, yeah.
were you supposed to share your screen?
Oh my, I am supposed to share my screen. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, I think I clicked stop sharing earlier instead of sharing the tab. So
Oh no, did we lose Jel?
Oh no.
Yeah.
it just reminds me that you met with Gune yesterday. This is the context. It kind of details like the work that you did, and also it will tell you that whatever you need here, just let me know and all that. Okay. So there's also a part yesterday, actually earlier today, that I received Gune's presentation, merged it with mine, and then sent it back to him to finalize the this whole thing together. So yeah. Okay. So okay. So am I in the presentation again? Just making sure I press the
Yes.
Yes.
right button.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So I think I'm good. You want to share your screen again, Gune?
Yes, let's go. Okay. So I'm going to actually show you. Um, Let me first share my screen. So many tabs open. All right. First, I'm going to share this slide so you understand what I mean and what we are going to do. We are going to create the first daily update assistant, and after that, I will be creating a transcript assistant. Okay, and I'm going to do that in ChatGPT because I think most people are using ChatGPT. Or rather, maybe let's do it like this: who is using ChatGPT and who's using Cloud? Can you guys please drop that in the chat? Don't be shy. We won't judge. Oh my God, it's all cloud people here. ChatGPT is catching up. Both? Nice. All right. Okay, great. Okay. Now I'm gonna do it because ChatGPT is a bit more difficult to actually create a skill file, right? In cloud, you can basically created by saying, hey, can you create a skill for this? But with ChatGPT, you have to work kind of like in a project. So I'm going to do it in ChatGPT. And please ignore my personal chats because this is my actual ChatGPT Pro account. Okay. So I'm using it on a daily basis. Do not dare to judge me or I will not show up. Okay. Share something else. Do we have that option? No, stop share. Share again, window, ChatGPT. There we go. Okay, I was able to collapse them. Thank God, Savior. We watch and we don't judge. Thank you, Kia. I appreciate that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new project as my personal assistant, right? And I'm just going to name it personal assistant for assistantly, or let's say client X to make it more realistic. And then now since you are not able to create skills, but you are able to create and add documents to your project, which will help you out significantly when you are giving it contexts or repeatable prompts, right? So instead of me every time saying the same thing over and over again, let me go to the prompt that I had saved here. So I could do this and then add my messy notes under it. And I can do this every single time, right? Let's do it a little bit faster. So I'm going to change this here. I can do this every single time, every day or every time I want to do this. However, me writing down this every single time while I know that I'm going to do this again tomorrow and the next day and then the day after, it's going to be time consuming. So I would copy this, okay? And then I would go to sources and I'm going to add a new text input and I'm going to say that this is my daily update assistant and this is my prompt. This is basically the same way as that you would create a skill.md file in either Claude or Codex or Hermes or any type of other AI harness that you might use. It's gonna perform the same. So now, if I go again without any contacts, and I say, here are my today's notes, right? It will look up that I hope it won't. As you can see, using your daily output format, it provided me with almost the same output as that I have done earlier, right? But this time, I just copy pasted my notes and I only added my messy notes. I didn't do anything else and it cleaned it up for me. We're gonna do the same thing again, just so because repetition makes perfect. So we're gonna do it again. And then we're gonna go to sources. Now I'm going to add my transcript prompt. Sources, add a source, a new text input, transcript. How should we call that? Transcript. How should I call that? Transcript cleanup, maybe. And then I'm going to add my notes, add my prompt. However, what I would like to do is with transcripts, because transcripts can be very long, right? I would like to add here, keep it to a maximum of 20 items. Because, transcripts can be very long and you end up eventually maybe with like a lot of things. So let's even do it less for the sake of this demo. And then save. Now I'm going to add a demo transcript. And without adding anything else, I'm just adding the transcript and I'm sending it. This should automatically say, hey, apparently this is a transcript. So I'm going to use the transcript source. It didn't. Oh, well, yes, it did. Transcript cleanup. So action items, missing information. My prompt was return to me a short summary, decisions made, action items, owner, deadline, missing information, and the suggested follow-up message. And it did all of that. If I would every time go and do this myself, it would take me approximately 5 minutes maybe to write it and then pasting the notes. So if you save yourself every day 5 minutes in a month, that is approximately 2 hours, if my calculations are correct. Mathematics is not my strong side. Okay, so, and you can do the same thing in Codex or in Claude. But the beauty with Codex and with Claude is you can basically say like, hey, next time if I prompt you this, create a skill create a skill for this one. So next time if I prompt you this, you provide the same output. Now, one thing that I want you to take note of is go and refine. Okay, don't never ever assume the first output is correct. Always refine it. Always check what can be done better. Okay, the first time it's going to take you maybe 20 minutes to refine it because you're going to test it, read it, test it, refine it, test it again. It might take you 20 minutes, but it is important that you do this because the next time it will save you time and you don't have to pay attention that much anymore. You just have to review if the information is correct. Is there any made up data in here? Okay, so yeah, that is what I would, that's my demo for now. Let me see. I forgot what's the next slide. Okay. Let me share my screen again. Is it clear for everybody what I am trying to show here? Drop a 1 in the
Yes.
chat if you understand the purpose. 1, 1, 1. Let's go. All right. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Now, my screen is visible. Yes. All right. So, obviously, this is a very weak prompt, right? It has no context, it has no output format, and it absolutely is lacking any type of a rule. So whenever you send this, AI will either start to hallucinate or it will give you a very bad output. Okay, so it's not bad because it's short though. It's bad because it makes AI guess. Okay, keep that in mind. A short prompt is not bad because earlier I just said to ChatGPT, here are my messy notes, but I gave it a skill first, right? So that one sentence, including the messy note, gave me a proper output. Why? Because it already had some context. This one doesn't have any context. So before I click and reveal what is missing, can you guys drop in the chat what you think is missing? Don't be shy. Yes, contexts. Okay. Format. Mm-hmm. Actually, all of the above. Yes. All right. Now, we have not gave it context, and context is who's the audience, like who's going to read this, because we are asking for a client update, but who's the audience, who's going to read it, who's the client, what input will I paste? I need to give it some information, some background details, right? And how should it come back? What must AI not invent? Okay, so a better prompt would be act as my daily update assistant. I am giving it a role. I will paste rough shift notes. I'm giving it some input. Return to me completed pending questions and next step. I'm asking for an output format. Do not add details I did not provide. I'm asking it to follow some specific set of rules. This is very important in everything you do and in the future sessions that we will be doing, that you follow this exact same style of prompting when you're building any type of a workflow or any type of a agent or any type of an automation. Keep in mind that if you do not follow these steps, you will eventually end up by um, with errors and with output that somebody will be complaining about. That somebody can be you, that somebody can be your client, that somebody can be your customer. Somebody will come back to you and say, hey, something is wrong here. And believe me, I experienced that firsthand. And you don't want to say, but the AI did it. Okay. That is like the weakest excuse you can have. All right. That just means you're providing AI slop. And that is something we want to prevent. Okay. Then fixing the prompt. Okay. Again, when something is not as you expected, go back, refine. Okay. So there are a few things that I gave here as an example. If something is too long, add a word limit, add a add a limit for the bullet points that it has to create. If something is too vague, add examples. Okay. How should it be though? Right? If it's the wrong tone, we define the tone. Be friendly. Be very formal. Make sure a 5-year-old can understand it. This is too technical. Make it sound less technical. Okay. Do not use jargon. Made up details. Use only what I provide. Okay. But even then, you still have to go and check. Again, the first 20 outputs, keep on checking it if it's correct. If it's okay after the first 20 outputs, then you can maybe start to slack off a little bit or be like, okay, ease with it. Then the wrong format. Do you want it as a PNG, PDF, docx? Do you want it as an Excel file? Do you want it as a CSV file? Add all of that to it. The format is not just the file format, but it can also be like provided to me in a bullet list, provided to me as a paragraph. Okay. And then the missed questions. Include missing information. And that way it can maybe say to you, like, without this information, I can't give you this specific output because I don't have that information. Right? I'm seeing that we are running short on time. We still have 5, 6 slides though. Jel, take it away.
Thank you. I'll try to fly through as much as I can. So it's kind of so I'll skip the transcript processor that I have, because Gunay has already given one. But the idea of my transcript processor and realizing it now, we have a different I think we have different ways on how to handle, meeting transcripts in general. For me, the idea is to uh, uh, paste a meeting transcript. Of course, AI extracts the action items per person, and then it checks ClickUp. We have connected ClickUp through an MCP, or model context protocol. So think of it as a bridge that lets right now Claude actually open an app inside another app, in which case it's ClickUp. So
Do you want to share your screen?
uh, I think we're running out of time. So I think we're good to continue.
Okay.
Gunay, all good. So I'm just giving like
Okay.
a primer on the transcript processor that I have. And then it the MCP in Claude checks ClickUp for a matching task. And if it gets a matching task, it comments updates, or it creates a task if ever that there's nothing available. So for me, recently Claude has been really a beast in making sure that there are some parts in ClickUp that I have been working on, and it has been a godsend, I suppose. Okay, so next slide, Gunay, thank you. All right, so before using any AI output, I think we have been, saying this in passing the past few slides. So you always have to ask for questions. Again, um, you know what a good output looks like. So number one, if you cannot, or you have to verify it. So if you can't check whether the answer is correct, so don't use it as a final word. Iterate, repeat it until it stabilizes. I think also Gune mentioned something about that you have to repeat the process until it gets refined. So number two, did I give enough information? So AI is an unpaid intern, always an unpaid intern. So think of them as someone who is very prone to errors, which is true. And make sure that you also ask yourself that you give the right resources, the ample resources for it to execute. Um, so what happens if it's wrong? So of course, do a corrective approach for it to adjust accordingly. And then, is this a judgment call? So you know uh, you have to also identify if a certain task or a certain assistant is like something that makes decisions for you, because AI should and does not decide. It just gives you information. It just gives you something that they need to refine. Um, and it primarily will support your prep. So, okay. So again, it should not decide. You can always make it like you can make a workflow that decides. That's fine, but you will still have the final say. Okay, so that's the idea. All right.
I would like
So
to add
again,
on to that one,
go ahead. Yeah.
Jel. Yeah. So one thing that AI is not yet capable of, and I want to emphasize the not yet part because it might be coming, is the judgment part. AI can think, AI can produce, AI can act, but the judgment part should always be in your hands. Recently, I read a news
Correct.
article and that stated that Ford was released a lot of their employees because AI and robots were taking over, and then they had to hire back their employees that did the quality check because the parts were not, meeting the standards that Ford wanted to have. Why? Because AI was making the judgment instead of an actual human, of a senior quality check analyst. So keep in mind, um, judgments, anything that's a judgment call, should always be in your hands, never in the hands of an AI. From um, actions and production and creation of stuff that can be done by AI. Think work can be done by AI, but the judgment should always be in your hands.
Correct. Correct. That's uh actually a part of like using AI ethically. So that's something that should be considered always, because if there's something that AI can't do, it's actually deciding or judgment calls really. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Gune. Next slide, please. Before, yeah, then I think the last two would be you, right? So, I think one last part for me is to always, 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 um, can't think of any way to emphasize this. Practice with safe data first. I know that in some organizations that we work for or we support, AI has been built institutionally. So for us, in the CRE client I support, we've already set it up in a way that secures data uh, within just the team. And then also I think we also opted out with like the part wherein if Claude can get information from us, so we opted out of it. That's also a thing. That's why a lot of also companies, mostly financial companies, build their own AI. That's the trend right now. So if we talk about big four, if we talk about other financial services companies, they you will try googling one, try googling five, you will see that um the AI stuff that they are doing, it's internally built for institutional purposes. That's why going back to this, you have to practice with safe data first. So please do not share API keys, passwords, um, protected health information. Of course, HIPAA is something that should be should be factored in as well. For European clients, GDPR is a big thing. So there's a lot of instances before that AI was misused and member information of certain hospitals or healthcare systems were spilled out in the general public, which is it's really a no-no. So just make sure that you're using AI, you're using data in AI the right way. Okay. Of course, it's always consent. Say for example, in when you say for example, when Gune and I talk, it's as very simple as, Gune, can we record this call? It's very similar principle in using AI as well. You have to be able to get your client's consent in using information related to them or to their company before you use that actual data in AI. So I hope I'm clear on that as well. Yeah. Okay, so I'm good. Good night. Thank you. You're next. Gunay, sorry, you're on mute. Can't hear you.
How about now?
Thank you. All right.
Okay, thank you. All right. All right, so let's go. So this is just a simple tool that we have created where you can fill in what type of assistant you want, what type of industry you're working in, what's the repeated task input, output tone, um, what to ask if it's missing, and final check before the output, and then the rules. Okay, we're going to try to check if we can put this on the internal pages that we have for Assistantly, and then you can generate your reusable prompt, add it into ChatGPT, or ask um, Claude or Codex to create, or Hermes to create basically a skill for you to keep on reusing it. And um, instead of reiterating the same thing over and over again. So that's something that we will be trying to give to you. And for now, you can access it through my website because of the lack of, because it's not online yet. So you can access it through my website instead. Güney Magic. Messi who? Okay. All right. So one final task for you guys and ladies this for this week: save the prompt, create it on your own, and use it. Add it to ChatGPT or add it to Claude or to Codex and use it, and make sure that you refine it and fine tune it every single time you're using it. So to make sure that the output is the way you want it, and you can turn it into a template, right? You don't have to reiterate every single time. That's it for this week. Actually, me and Jel had some other things that we wanted to share and demo, but I think we
There's a
spoke
lot.
too long instead of showing more. But I can guarantee you that in the next few sessions, we are going to be showing more and doing more interactive stuff and building together. This is just the foundation of it. And once we have mastered the foundation, we are going to build some great stuff together. So I'm hoping that everybody had a great time. If you did have a great time, drop a one in the chat, like Sharon always says at my client. All right, great. Great.
Thank you guys.
So
You have been
I enjoyed
amazing.
it. Thank you,
Thank you so
everybody.
much,
Same, same.
guys. This was awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
everyone.
All right. Thank you so much. Till the next time.